Hey there, Mr. Redder here. Welcome back to another episode of Reddit Podcast Stories, where today I put vegetables in all of my food so my roommate's kid would stop eating it. The mom got upset. I, 26 female, live in a rented house with a single mother, 30 female, and her son who's 6. I had another person living with me, but they moved out, and that was when my current roommate, the mother, moved in. I don't mind living with her and her kid. It's fine, and we kind of both do our own thing. I spend a lot of time at my boyfriend's place or working. Our work schedules collide, so we really don't interact much, but when we do, it's fine. No issues there. I want to start by saying that she clearly struggles financially, but I don't think it's an excuse. I don't make lots of money either. However, I've noticed that my food would go missing or portions would be taken out from it. I assumed it was her kid, so I asked her if she'd stop him from eating my food. I was calm about it, and she just said she would. It didn't really upset me when it first started. It started getting annoying though when I'd get home from work and expect to have a meal's worth of leftovers in the fridge only to see it picked through or just gone. I kept bringing it up and she started getting annoyed with me bringing it up. Just from observing them, I realized that neither of them eat vegetables, and judging by the food that would get picked through and the food that would be untouched, anything with green in it was avoided. Orange chicken would be gone through, but chicken and broccoli would be untouched. So I started putting vegetables in everything. I find vegetables to be delicious, and anything green or not a potato does not get eaten. So I could mix some bell peppers into the food and it would be fine. I make a big portion of vegetables pretty frequently anyway, so I just started putting it in everything I eat. If I had leftover mashed potatoes, I'd pour green beans in and mix it up. If I had leftover cheesy bacon fries, I'd pour broccoli all over it and mix it in. Usually my homemade stuff has vegetables in it, but I started making sure everything did. I made a pot of mac and cheese, the kids' favorite, and poured in roasted Brussels sprouts, which is actually delicious to me, and I'm eating more vegetables, so it's a win-win. She had been seeming annoyed, but we were all home when I made the pot of mac and cheese. She was in the living room and saw me get out the Brussels sprouts and was like, "What are you going to do with that?" And I poured them in. She said I was being greedy and annoying. I just said, "I like Brussels sprouts," and that was it. She said, "We need food," and I told her to go get some, or stop buying only pre-packaged things and your money will go further. I think she sees this as some big act of revenge, but I just simply want to be able to eat my own food. Also want to add that sharing is not the issue. Often I'd get home after working a long day expecting to have a meal's worth of food and it would all be gone. Or I wake up in a rush and had my food ready to eat in the morning only to find it gone. So now I have to skip breakfast. If she would simply text sometimes, "Hey, is it okay if we eat your food?" I would know, and then I could make other plans. I would stop for food or know that I have to whip something up when I get home. Also, I think eating the last of someone else's food is crazy and rude. If someone makes a big pot of something and you ask for a serving, sure. But if someone made something and there's one serving left and you eat it without permission, that's just not right. My fiance, 27 female, is threatening to call off the wedding if I, male 26, don't let her parents move in with us after the wedding. Obviously, this comes off as a rich people problem, but up until 5 months ago, I was still living in a one-bedroom apartment working at a rather large supermarket retail store making $12 an hour and going to be paying off college debt until I was in my 60s. My fiance is still working her nursing job and we've been fully living together for 4 years. Some background into our relationship. We met 6 years ago. There were literally zero issues with us dating. When it came to some sort of conflict, we'd sit down, explain both of our sides like adults, and generally fix the problem. We've rarely gotten into arguments and have the same end goals in life: to have kids, grow old together, die and be buried next to each other, and have fun whenever we can. I've always had an incredibly distant relationship with her parents. When she introduced me to them, they both stated they didn't like me to my face and thought I wasn't good enough. Her father even said, "Not in my lifetime," when I asked for his permission to marry his daughter, which I stated the only reason I was doing it was for an olive branch. My parents, on the other hand, love my fiance. They scooped her up like she was one of us from the start, has never said anything bad about her in public, nor have they in private. They absolutely love her. During my grandfather's decline in health, I was the first one there. He just got old, and with being old comes complications. I stopped working my higher-paying job to work retail to have more time to take care of him, because his other kids were busy. This was a very stressful time in our relationship. I had just recently left my job, was not around often, and I myself was super stressed. Recently, I began the slow move of everything over there. While we still have to live in our apartment until the lease agreement is up, there's nothing against the rules of me moving stuff. I brought it up to my girlfriend how taking care of my grandfather has really made me realize how important my family is, and that I wanted to know if it was okay for my parents to move into the new house with us. My dad could retire, and my mom can spend the rest of her life relaxing, not stressing over bills and debt. Because I can pay that off over time, I'm not insane enough to pay it all in one go. She expressed how that was an amazing idea and how she'd like her parents to move in as well. I laughed at the idea and asked her if she was serious, and why would I want to live in a house with people I don't like, nor want to interact with. She explained that this could be a good chance at us healing old wounds and making amends. I explained that not only do I not want to heal old wounds, if it were up to me, they wouldn't be coming to the wedding. Obviously, this was the wrong thing to say, and now she's giving me the ultimatum of, let them move in or the wedding is off. While I can understand her side, I seriously do not want to interact with them in any capacity. They've tried numerous times to get her back with exes, lie about me, even spread a rumor about me being unfaithful, until I pulled up real evidence of me being nowhere near where they said I was thanks to Google location. My fiance knows all of this and still wants to try and rebuild a relationship with them. This past week, I've been avoiding her with excuses and white lies. I've been meeting with accountants, lawyers, wedding venue people, and jewelers. I've also been spending all-nighters at my grandfather's grave drinking with him and not getting back home until 4 a.m. To me, it feels like my grandfather is still the only person I can vent my deepest secrets and frustrations to. Which is why I've come to you, Reddit. I feel trapped. On one hand, I do not want to live with people I absolutely hate, and on the other hand, I do not want to lose the woman of my dreams. I want a third party's opinion on the matter, with no connection to me whatsoever, as I feel it's the best way to make a good judgment without people close to me influencing my choices. I really didn't understand the "she clearly isn't with me for my money" in the opening paragraph, because OP, she is with you for your money. There are a lot of subtle ways to be with someone for their money without making an outright demand for it. She could be planning to quit her job, pay zero expenses and keep her funds to the side, have herself and her parents live in your house for free. There are many problems. The ultimatum is a huge one, but further than that is you might not have recourse to make her parents leave once they've established residency in your home. And what about bills? I'm thinking their contribution will be zero. Will they keep the proceeds from selling their house, quit their jobs, expect you to pay all expenses? You'll end up paying for 6 people living off you and your money. Do you want to buy their groceries, pay their utilities? What about spending money? Will your wife be handing them money behind your back to keep it fair? Who pays their car, medical, retirement, care when they're older, to go on trips? This absolutely will ruin your relationship. It does not take a psychic to see this. They dislike you. They don't respect you. Do you think they'll respect your home, your money? This path is fraught with challenges. Seek financial advice. Also, why didn't one of your parents get money? Did they also abandon your grandfather? Do you want to care for them for the rest of your life? I'd reassess that as well. Maybe set up a trust with stipulations that they can live independently. It's your money, do with it in regards to your parents what you will. But you do not owe her parents or yours a free ride. OP. My parents would keep the proceeds from selling their house as I have no need for it. Utilities are not an issue. I own the water rights to a natural aquifer and spring underground. As for power, a lot of it's solar energy, which can keep the house going non-stop as long as it's charged. My grandfather was one of those doomsday crazy old guys. I knew about the hunting cabin, I just didn't think it was this big or advanced, so I'll literally never need to pay anything on the property other than tax. I plan to have my parents enter a renting contract. They'd be able to rent out their area and live on the property, use its land or whatever for $1 a month, just in case they upset me so I can evict them. As for insurance, my dad served 23 years in the military, and my mom, being his wife, gets that insurance as well. Unless they run out of money, they'll be paying their own insurance. While technically speaking, I'd be buying their groceries, my father and I love to hunt and fish, so a lot of our food will be produced on our own. Mom has always wanted a garden, and she can't grow one in the city. Also, no, they wouldn't go on trips with us. As for the hypothetical, if her parents did move in, I wouldn't be paying for anything, and they'd be paying me the real price to live on the property, and extra because I don't like them. You might think California rent is high. The auditor I hired to see the value of the estate valued rent for a room at an extraordinary level of money, Thank goodness Grandpa bought this land when milk cost your left shoelace and a blueberry. My parents got money. It was nowhere near what I got, but they got a fair share. They didn't abandon my grandfather. In fact, they visited as often as they could, given my dad's work schedule and the distance. It was never viable to visit more than once or twice a year. The only reason I was so close was because I went to college in the same state where he lived and stayed because of my fiance. I've already been working closely with accountants and lawyers who've all projected me moving in my parents and living with them for the next 30 to 40 years of my life will not dent my money in any significant way. I've already invested money and put money into accounts to generate interest. I won't be losing money unless I buy mega yachts, jets, helicopters, supercars. I don't expect her parents to respect me, my money, or my home. I've thought in great detail how my parents would be independent of my finances, and my parents have never done me wrong, never given up on me, and encouraged me my entire life. The least I can do is make the rest of theirs something they never dreamed would come true. My dad would have had to work until he passed to provide for my mom and take care of the debt they acquired to live and take care of me. I want them to be happy, and I want them to be close. Update. I've postponed the wedding. While some of you may refer to it as calling her bluff, I call it waiting and seeing. As of right now, we're really talking about how compatible we truly are, going over our goals in life again, and talking in depth about the relationship we want with our in-laws if we get married. Apparently, a lot had changed since the last time we talked about it. Before I got money, as some of you called it. 2. Yes, she genuinely thought moving her parents in would make my relationship with them better over time. I've expressed that as a result of all they've said and done to me, any positive relationship or communication with them will only be done out of necessity. For example, if she were pregnant, in the hospital, or any life-altering complication or celebration. She did not take this well, but that was expected. But it's important I tell the truth. She believes I'll come around and try to build a relationship with her parents, but as of right now, I can't see myself doing it. My parents won't be moving in, as I haven't even asked them yet. I know some of you were confused and assumed it was already happening. It was not. I asked if it was okay if they could, not telling her it was happening. Some of you suggested that maybe moving them in as newlyweds was weird and suggested building them a small house on the property. I didn't think about that, and we'll talk to my accountant and parents about it whenever that conversation needs to be talked about. Nice idea. What have I been doing? A lot of meetings about my future, finances, and setting up trusts and wills. I'll be re-enrolling into school to take classes on business, finance, accounting, and economics as my accountant suggested I do. We're still working on a budget, but as of right now, my next steps are furthering my education to manage my newfound wealth and opportunity in a healthy way and to not blow it. As of right now, to be honest, I'm emotionally drained. I think the weight of my grandfather's passing is finally hitting me, despite it being months later, and the only thing that kept me going was the idea of the wedding day. With that being postponed, I can really only focus on myself, my values, and my emotions. Staying up all night and drinking at a gravesite isn't healthy, and I've not only promised myself to cut back, but also to not stay up drinking. I've been thinking about maybe getting into some sort of therapy or grief counseling, but I need to make sure that's in the budget with my accountant, as that's a long-term thing. Maybe they know someone. Update. There's not much to say. We sat down and talked for a while. I explained my side of things, she explained hers. She was upset I was postponing the wedding, but once she realized I wasn't going to fold, she agreed under the notion that it was best for our relationship to work on this before marriage. Right now, I'm taking a step back from her to clear the air and give us time to formulate what we want on our own. I've driven the 2 hours to the cabin. Thankfully, the internet people hooked that up yesterday. I've talked to my parents, not about them moving in, but about the situation as a whole. While my dad can't just abandon his job, he sends his love and support. My mom is currently making the 18-hour drive, so I wouldn't be alone by myself. I've gotten attempted phone calls from my in-laws within the last 24 hours, but I've watched them ring and went back to doing my everyday tasks like lawn work, meal prep, reading, and binge watching Netflix. It's strange, but right now I feel happier alone right now than I do with my fiance. Maybe it's some sign that it's not meant to be, or that I've finally been able to relax for the first time in years and have found comfort in solitude. Maybe I'm happy my mom is going to cook me my favorite dinner to cheer me up. I think as of right now though, I have a lot of work to do, not only emotionally, but also literally. I'm thinking about doing some telework just to still have a mainstream of income part-time, as I'll probably get bored of being jobless in about a week. I need some hobbies. My sister's life is falling apart, and I'm happy. So my sister, Ursula, who's 43, yes, I'm using a villain's name, has always made my life horrible. She's extremely manipulative and she's a narcissist. Ursula will be nice to me when she needs something, but then will ignore me. Growing up, I always thought that we were really good sisters. We didn't have the typical sister fights of one being jealous of the other. Now as an adult, when I think about it, I think she hated me. She would always give me backhanded compliments like, "Your face looks better with your glasses." Growing up, I always wanted to be like her. She was everyone's favorite. She was helpful and kind, or at least that's what she made us believe. She would always make me feel insecure about my looks and people I date. The first boyfriend I had when I was 17, she made me believe that he wasn't good enough for me, blah blah blah. I broke up with him. I know, my fault. I moved out of state for college. My sister went to business school while I studied engineering. I would come home from holidays and would still have to hear all her backhanded compliments. When I was 21, I started dating my ex-husband, Jordan. My sister was dating someone else at that time, so I guess her focus didn't fall on Jordan. Also, Jordan was not her type. We dated for 3 years and tied the knot. For 4 years, I've been happy with my life. During that time, my sister announces she's pregnant. We all thought she got pregnant by her then boyfriend, Remy. One day, I went to visit her and bring some food for pregnancy. She gave me a key to her place, and I went inside without knocking. I had permission from her. The surprising thing I saw was Jordan's shoes outside. I went inside her room because I was feeling a bit suspicious, and yeah, you guessed it. Long story short, I divorced Jordan. I was still in pain and very devastated. My parents supported me, but their focus shifted way more towards my sister and Jordan. Yes, she was pregnant with his baby. It was painful to see them together. I never got a sorry from either of them. They were like, crap happens. I moved away from home 8 years ago. I got a contract to work in England. I moved there. It was a fresh start of my life. I met Peter, who was a single dad. We fell in love and got married, and we have a son together. I don't have contact with my sister. I have very low contact with my dad, who gives me all the insight. Jordan and Ursula got married and had 2 more kids. That's all I know about them, until recently. Jordan cheated on Ursula, and they are having a nasty fight about it. The cherry on top is that 2 of their kids are not Jordan's, so Ursula hasn't been faithful at all. My dad told me it's a mess. Jordan and Ursula will get a divorce, but she's pressing for alimony. I hung up the phone and made myself a drink. I'm glad I'm thousands of miles away from all that drama. My mom had called me too and said that she needs me. I'm not sure if I'll go or not. As much as I love to enjoy seeing Ursula's life shattering in front of me, I'm not sure if I want to engage in that drama. Edit. Some people are curious and want to know everything, so I added more details. My sister was cheating on Remy. Remy was a really sweet guy. He was very devastated when he heard that my sister is not pregnant with his baby, rather it was Jordan's. Remy moved on and had a wonderful wife afterwards. I still follow him on Instagram. My parents were mad at Ursula, but she, being a manipulative jerk, convinced everyone that Jordan coerced her and that he said he would divorce me if she didn't hook up with him. She made it seem like she was saving my marriage by hooking up with my husband. Classic. I got married in London. My relatives couldn't come because of the long distance, but my father did. Mom couldn't because at that time she had back surgery. Update. So I've landed on the soil of my home country with my husband and son. My mom and dad received me from the airport. I was so happy to meet them after so many years. Their faces looked pale as if they hadn't eaten or slept in a long time. My mom was happy to meet my husband and kid, especially my kid because she hasn't met him yet. I asked them not to tell my sister that I'm here. I'm only here for a few weeks and then I'll be gone. I'm currently staying with my aunt. Now on to some insights about my sister. My mom said she's living with her along with her kids. I got some details on my sister. She was having an affair with her former boss who is married, and those 2 kids are actually his. From what I'm hearing, the company her boss works in actually belongs to boss's father-in-law. So yeah, her boss is going to be jobless. And my sister has switched jobs way before this happened, but the affair continued. But because of all this drama, she's literally on the edge to lose her new job too, because the company's owner is good friends with boss's wife. So you can imagine the kind of quicksand she's put her foot into. Jordan has quit his job too, because he's adamant on not paying my sister alimony and not wanting to pay child support for the kids that belong to the boss. He will be suing the boss for child support as well. They constantly fight a lot. Jordan is losing his mind because of it, according to my mom, and he was also having an affair with his coworker. My mom wants to kick my sister out, but because of her kids, she can't. She can't stand her. but she doesn't want to punish her kids because they're innocent. Honestly, I feel bad for those kids too. They do not deserve such a mess of parents. Also, just so you know, my parents aren't bad. They've supported me a lot. The only reason they still talk to my sister Ursula is because of her kids. I feel bad for Mom because she only has a few days, and along with her illness, she probably will be too sick to deal with this. I know my sister will somehow know I'm here, but I'm prepared for that as well. I do not want to see her because I know I'll be dragged into her drama, but I will enjoy the few weeks I have with my husband and kid. I don't work here, and you're not a customer here. A new breed of Karen. A bit of background. I've been a manager in my line of work for over a decade now, and we deal with rude people all the time. I have zero patience for rude people, and I give it back exactly how it's given to me. At my work, I do the post office run each morning, dropping and collecting mail from our P.O. box. Great chance to get out of the office and create new, long ways to get back. Today, we had a parcel pickup slip in there. Nothing unusual with that. We get them all the time. So I collect the parcel and take it back to work with the other mail. When I get back to my desk, I notice that the parcel is from Amazon, addressed to someone who doesn't work here, but has our office P.O. box details. There's also a contact number for her on the parcel sticker. So, being the kind, caring gentleman that I am, I give her a call. It goes to her voicemail, so I leave a detailed message about the situation and how to contact me. Moments later, I get a call back on my desk phone. Me. Good afternoon. This is the company. How can I help you? Her. I had a missed call from this number, but I have no idea why you would be calling me, because I'm not interested in anything you're selling. Me. Oh no, that's okay. I don't want to sell you anything. We had a parcel in our P.O. box addressed to you. Did you want to come to our office to pick it up? Her. Why do you have a key to my P.O. box? Me. Well, actually, it's our P.O. box. We've had the same one for 3 years now, so she explodes. No, it's my P.O. box, and that's illegal. Why do you have a key to my P.O. box? I want to speak to your manager. Me. Okay, go for it. I'm the manager. Her. Well, why do you have access to my mail? She yells the whole conversation, but I got sick of writing in all caps. Me. I don't. I have access to my mailbox. I go every day, and I've never seen your mail in there before. So explain to me why you think you have access to mine. You do realize that I'm from the company, right? Well, my P.O. box is... She explains the full address, which is almost our address as we have 2 post offices nearby, but hers needs the suburb name, East, added to it. Easy. Me. Oh, I understand now. Sorry. Well, yeah, looks like Amazon or Australia Post hasn't added that detail to the label sticker, so it's come to the main post office. Whoops. Trying to calm her down a bit. Well, when I made the order, I put my details in as I always do. That's how I have them saved on my Amazon profile too. So why did it get sent to you? Me, getting sick of going back and forth with her. How would I know, mate? I don't work for Amazon or the post office. I literally picked up our P.O. box mail and your parcel was in it. I didn't have to call, but I did. I have nothing to do with your mail or your order details. As I've said multiple times now, I'm from my company. Her. Well, this needs to be escalated, and you will need to drop that parcel at my house ASAP, because it's urgent. Me. At this point, I think my nose started bleeding from my inner rage. What? What's not being understood here? Her. Well then, take my parcel back to the post office and tell them about the error. Me. I have no authority to take a parcel back and have them amend the address. Nope, not gonna happen. You need to come and get it from me, or I can take it back and they'll return it to Amazon. I probably could have done more, but really, forget her. This is urgent medicine I need. You buy urgent medicine from Amazon, and they mark it as beauty products on the customs declaration? Bit odd. That's none of your business. Yeah, exactly. None of this is my business. Now come and get your parcel and stop blowing up at me. Completely unacceptable behavior. I want to lodge a complaint. You're not a customer of ours. You have no grounds to a complaint. I'm trying to help you. Where is your office? I will come right now, and you better have some answers for me. Beautiful. Here's our office address. Can't wait to catch up. See you then. She hangs up. I imagine she slammed down her phone and absolutely obliterated it because of how angry she was. Her hands shaking from rage, she cleans the froth from the sides of her mouth, grabs her handbag, makes sure she's carrying her Karen ID, and heads to her new 4-wheel drive that she uses for only city travel. Myself and our other office staff share a great laugh over it. We're currently pacing the room waiting for her to get here. Everyone wants to witness this pure stupidity firsthand. That call was now 3 hours ago and she's still not here. But I'll keep you updated. Update. Okay, so I'm actually shaking it just went down. So here goes. Because my team are quite busy and I oversee their workloads, I sit closest, but still hidden, to the main foyer and reception area. I generally greet all the customers and take the majority of the calls to our office. My team has to focus on complex financial deals, and they don't need the distraction of people asking general questions who just walked in without an appointment. We keep an old-school desk bell on the reception counter, where no one sits, with a sign next to it asking to ring for assistance. Come 9:30 a.m., and I think I hear the bell. As you are all probably aware, normally when you ring a bell, you hit the top and instantly move your hand back to allow the vibration to create the noise. What I heard was the initial ding of the bell, but none of the vibrations or loudness. There was an angry, powerful, yet to be removed hand resting on the bell. The hair on the back of my neck stood up. She's here. I immediately lean back in my chair, which gives me an ample view of the reception area. I see a short woman in her 60s with glasses and surprisingly not a typical Karen haircut, already staring me down. I jump up and run out. Hello, how are you? You have my package. It's her. Me. Ah, yes, of course. Thanks for coming in. I'm OP, we talked on the phone. I extended my hand out to shake hers. I won't shake your hand. Sorry. At this moment, my mind is racing. Is she being rude? Is it a religious thing? How do I even respond to that moment? This has probably only happened twice in my life. Me. Okay, no problem. I'll grab your package. Just wait here a moment. I go back to my desk and retrieve the package from my drawer, which she can see me do. I walk back to her and she is again already at me. Where were you keeping the package? In my drawer. Not very secure? Why would it be? You're in my office, which you can clearly see is not a larger version of a P.O. box, or a larger version of a post office for that matter. Looking angry at me in silence like she wants a better explanation. Look, I'm actually having a lot of trouble understanding why you're being so rude about this. I held this package for you in good faith. I called you to let you know I had it, so you didn't have to go through the hassle. I get cut off. Well, it's the inconvenience of having to come here. My brain legit snapped. You're joking, right? You are the dumbest person I've ever had to deal with. Take your package and get out of my office. If I ever see another one of your packages with my mail, I'll throw it straight in the trash. Forget helping you again. Her, mumbling to herself while she grabs the package and digs for her keys from her handbag. Absolutely disgusting. Me. Yes, you are. You should reevaluate how you treat people that have tried to help you. She actually turned around to point and yell at me, but barely got through her sentence. Her. I will never deal with this company again. Me. You don't deal with us now, and we wouldn't want to deal with someone like you at all. What a crappy threat. Get out of my office. She stormed out. I watched her go to her car, which was parked in our maintenance driveway. This actually made me laugh so hard, and I'll explain why. Next to our main entrance is a maintenance driveway. Throughout the day, we'll have multiple contractor cars parked here to work on many levels of the building. In the time since she had come in, her car had been parked in by 2 utility vehicles bearing the building maintenance company name. The guys are just standing at their cars having a chat. I see her yelling at them to move their cars. They look at her and barely budge. She proceeds to get in her car, and I watch over the next few minutes as she continuously looks back and forth to see if they're moving their cars for her to get out. These maintenance guys start moving at an actual snail pace. One is even checking his phone while he walks to his driver's side door. I'm just laughing at this point, and the other guys in the office all come and they're watching it too. I kid you not, these guys took about 5 minutes to move their cars for her. She beeped at them about 4 times, drawing the attention of many people walking by. She finally got her car out, and as she was driving off, I walked outside and spoke to the maintenance guys and asked what she said to them. Maintenance guy in a thick Kiwi accent. Yeah, bro, she full came out and straight up told us to move our cars. They were of course unaware of who she was, so they got a good laugh at the story. Thinking back now, I'm pretty happy with the outcome to be honest. I got to tell her some honest truths about the situation, and she obviously thought she could continue being a jerk. I must have caught her off guard. I really hope that's the last I see of her. Can't wait to tell my future kids and grandkids about her in the years to come. Am I the jerk for bringing eggs to a vegan wedding? I realize from the title I probably immediately sound like the jerk, but hear me out. So my 21 female brother, who's 26, got married last weekend. He and my new sister-in-law, who's 26, had known each other for a few years now, and naturally, I was invited to the wedding. She had been vegan since she was 12 and had also converted my brother in recent years, so they decided to make the wedding vegan. Basically, this meant that all the catering was vegan food, even the alcohol, and they used petals from their garden instead of plastic confetti and things like that to make the wedding as eco-friendly as possible. I have no problem with any of this, and I think it's great. Anyway, the problem is this. The issue I often have with eating anything anywhere is that I have multiple allergies: peanuts, soy, sesame, and a mild shellfish allergy as well. The first three I named are very serious and have landed me in the hospital in the past because of cross-contamination, so I'm really weary. I talked to my brother about if there would be anything safe for me to eat at the event, but because they're using a local neighborhood ladies' business as the catering service instead of something professional, I did not feel comfortable enough that there was absolutely zero chance of me having a reaction, especially because the allergies were ingredients in many of the dishes. It felt too risky, so I said I'd bring my own food, and he agreed that that was the best option. I've done this with plenty of such events in the past, and it's never been a problem. The wedding day arrives, and it comes time to eat. Everyone is digging into the food, and I pull out my Tupperware quite happily, and I dig in when I see the bride staring at me with horror on her face. I had bought a homemade sort of salad box, which had 2 eggs on top, and she literally just stared at me in disgust the entire time we ate without saying anything. After the meal's finished, she pulled me to the side and said I ruined her meal and her appetite, and ruined her day, and that I'm clearly a selfish person because I can't even go one meal without animal secretions in a vegan wedding, and that it was seriously disrespectful because the fact it was a vegan wedding was the main focus. In my eyes, I brought my own food because they weren't able to provide me with something which was safe to eat, and it's not like I brought in a steak. I had 2 eggs and a big salad, and she must have been specifically staring at my food to even realize they were there. However, I'm beginning to wonder if I'm the jerk, because my brother also said it was in poor taste and I should have brought something else. So, what are your thoughts? Am I the jerk? Do this next. Tap here on your screen to come see our new podcast playlist, where you'll find thousands of hours of the best stories you've ever heard. Or tap the one on the right. That episode is specifically just for you, based on other videos you've enjoyed the most.